Beware of Greeks bearing gifts, and beware of governments buying Bitcoin. The headline sounds amazing. U.S. government to buy 1 million Bitcoin for strategic reserve. Bitcoiners are cheering. They see the price going to $1 million. They see hyper-Bitcoinization. But the smart money sees a Trojan horse. For 15 years, the state tried to kill Bitcoin. They failed. So now they have switched strategies. If you can't kill it, capture it. Think about it. If the U.S. government becomes the largest holder of Bitcoin and U.S. corporations control the majority of the mining hash rate, is Bitcoin still decentralized? Or does it become just another asset class controlled by BlackRock and the Federal Reserve? We are witnessing the institutional capture of the revolution. The price might go to the moon, but the freedom might stay on Earth. Let's start with the bull case. Why are they doing this? Politicians compare it to the Louisiana Purchase, buying a massive asset before the rest of the world realizes its value. The U.S. holds 8,000 tons of gold. It makes sense to hold digital gold to hedge the dollar. If the U.S. buys 5% of the total supply, it triggers game theory. Saudi Arabia, Japan, and the UK will have to buy too. They can't let the U.S. corner the market. This creates a sovereign FOMO. Squeeze. Supply is finite, 21 million. Demand becomes infinite, nation-states. Mathematically, this sends the price to numbers that look like phone numbers. For the investor holding Bitcoin, this is the God candle. But there is a difference between price and value, and the cost of this pump might be the soul of the network. How do you capture a decentralized network? You control the miners. Bitcoin runs on hash rate, the computers that secure the network. Since China banned mining, the U.S. has become the global superpower of mining. Companies like Mara, Riot, and Core Scientific are publicly traded U.S. corporations. They have CEOs, they have shareholders, and most importantly, they have to follow U.S. law. What happens if the U.S. Treasury, OFAC, sends a letter to these miners saying, "You are not allowed to process transactions from wallet X or country Y"? If 51% of the miners comply, they can censor the blockchain. They can ignore transactions from enemy nations or dissidents. Bitcoin becomes permissioned. It stops being censorship-resistant money and becomes a tool of U.S. foreign policy. The Strategic Reserve Bill often includes subsidies for these miners, tightening the leash between the state and the network. This leads to the death of fungibility. Fungibility means 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. It doesn't matter where it came from. But if the U.S. government holds a clean reserve and U.S. miners only process clean blocks, we get a split. Whitelisted Bitcoin, mined in the USA, KYC'd, held by BlackRock, trades at $500,000. Dark Bitcoin, mined in Russia or Iran, held on private wallets, mixed, trades at $400,000. You won't be able to send dark Bitcoin to Coinbase. You won't be able to sell it for dollars. This destroys the universal liquidity of the asset. It turns Bitcoin into a two-tier system, the corporate coin and the freedom coin. The strategic reserve is the anchor for the corporate coin. Here is the darkest theory, the Fed coin Trojan horse. The U.S. knows people hate central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. We don't trust the Fed, but we trust Bitcoin. So what if they use the strategic Bitcoin reserve to back the digital dollar? They say, our CBDC isn't fiat trash, it is backed by our 1 million Bitcoin stockpile. They use the credibility of Bitcoin to sell you the surveillance tool, episode 009. It's like using gold to sell the paper dollar in 1913. Once you accept the CBDC because it's backed by Bitcoin, they have you in the system. Then, 10 years later, they depeg it. Or they sell the Bitcoin. By then, cash is gone, and you are trapped in the digital panopticon. They are using the rebel currency to prop up the empire. History has a warning for us, Executive Order 6102. In 1933, FDR made it illegal for U.S. citizens to own gold. Why? Because the government needed the gold to recapitalize the system. They forced everyone to sell their gold to the Fed at a low price, $20.67, then revalued it higher, $35. If Bitcoin becomes a strategic reserve asset, it becomes a matter of national security. If the U.S. dollar faces a crisis in 2028, could the president sign Executive Order 6102.0? All private Bitcoin must be sold to the strategic reserve for the good of the nation. If you hold your coins on Coinbase or an ETF, they are gone instantly. The government just changes the database entry. By centralizing custody into a few massive institutions, BlackRock, Coinbase, we have made confiscation easy. We built a honeypot for the state. So how do you play the Bitcoin trap? You have to separate price exposure from freedom tech. If you just want number to go up, the strategic reserve is bullish. Buy the ETF, enjoy the gains. But if you want insurance against the system, you must go sovereign. 1. Self-custody. Not your keys, not your coins. If the government seizes the ETFs, your hardware wallet is the only thing they can't touch. 2. Privacy. Learn about CoinJoins or privacy tools. Don't let your coins be easily whitelisted or blacklisted. 3. Geographic diversity. Don't keep all your backups in one jurisdiction. The government is buying Bitcoin to save itself, not you. Make sure you own the asset, not the IOU. Let's summarize the investigation. The U.S. government pivot to Bitcoin is the most significant financial event of the decade. It validates the asset, but threatens the ethos. The smart money playbook. 1. Front-run the state. The buying hasn't fully started yet. Accumulate before the sovereign FOMO kicks in. 2. Watch the regulations. If they pass laws favoring U.S.-mined Bitcoin, expect a split in the market. 3. Diversify custody. Keep a trading stack on the exchange and a freedom stack in cold storage. 4. Don't trust the narrative. They aren't modernizing finance. They are capturing the exit. Price up, freedom down. This is the smart money wisdoms. The future belongs to the owners. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. See you next time.